Joe, you talk a lot about the good habits you guys need to reinforce, do over and over again. How much did the things Tatum did tonight kind of set a tone for the other guys to do those things?
I mean, he took what the defense gave him. He was aggressive, and when he got into the paint, he made the right play. So he did that. I thought Jalen did a great job of the same thing. I thought Jalen really controlled the pace of the game when he had the ball, made the right play, made some big plays for us. And so when those two guys are locked in on taking what the defense gives them and making the right play, we're a great team.
And what went into the Grant DMP, Mike getting more minutes there, lineups? What went into that?
Matchups.
And what do you see from Mike in that position that you put him in tonight?
Just the ability to stretch the floor. I thought he got a couple of good looks, and that adds a level of length and rim protection and physicality in the paint.
Joe, they scored 113, but it seemed like your defense was definitely strong. Maybe the first 3.5 quarters. What did you guys do differently from the first two meetings? And their two bigs didn't kind of control the game as they did.
We didn't do anything. They scored 113 the first two games we played them.
It seemed like the defense was a little bit better.
Our offense was better. We only scored 100 and they scored 114 the first game. We scored 113. We scored 117 this game. And so I thought our defense was just as good as it was the two times we played them. We held them to about the 112, 113 mark both times, I believe. And we just didn't score well. And tonight I thought we did a better job on the offensive end, managing the game. I know we still had 13 turnovers. Some of those were illegal screens. Some of those came at the end of the game. But I thought we managed the game with our offense. And when we have the right spacing and we can keep teams in the half court and play our half court defense, our first shot defense is really good. So we still got to clean up a couple areas, the points off turnovers, the offensive rebounds. But what I did like is we made shots and we got to the free throw line.
Hey, Joe. Al Horford has been hot from three-point range out at the break here. Early in the season, he kind of talked about how he switched up his game. Obviously, he was a post player early in his career. Now he's primarily, acting behind the three-point line. How big is that change for this team on top of what he brings off the court in the locker room?
Yeah, it's massive. He's done a great job this year at recognizing the coverage and screening versus different coverages. And so we ran that ATO for him, and he recognized the coverage that they were in, and he popped and shot it. And the second time they tried to switch it, and he created an advantage. And so he's constantly trying to find small ways to reinvent his game. And, what he does, you can't even, put into words what he is for our team.
Joe, Jason seemed like his substitution pattern was a little different than it's been. He got rests in each quarter. What was kind of the approach tonight?
Yeah, just kind of when we're healthy, just finding small ways to get a different lineup, to just create a different rhythm, change his matchups. When he's out there on the offensive end, change who he plays with, change who Jalen plays with. Yeah, that was a good one.
And there you had like 10 second chance points in that first quarter. Obviously, you had a couple at the end, but then you guys did a better job. What did you see that?
I just thought when you're shifted and you try to get out the shooters, once they get into the paint, you got to come back in and rebound, and that's a hard thing to do. And I thought our guys did a good job of getting rebounds out of their area, and we did a good job of having 3-4 guys in the paint at every time they shot the ball.
Coach Al Horford got hot from deep, tied a career high in 3-pointers. Was that game plan going into this one? Was that part of the approach, or is that just Al and the Celtics just reading the defense and making the right decisions?
It's a little bit of both. I think depending upon Al's matchup is kind of what the defense is going to give him. And, when teams guard him a certain way, he's able to, get those off. And then, I think we need him to play well. And when Jason and Jalen do a great job of controlling the game with their offense, it helps Al as well because, he does a great job of spacing. And so I thought the three of those guys kind of fed off of each other from that.
Going back to Grant not playing in the matchup thing, matchup versatility has generally been a strength of his. So what was it about tonight's matchup that made you want to go with Mike instead?
Just matchups on the offensive end as far as, spacing the floor and having rim protection. And so when Mike was in, we were able to play a different defensive lineup. Didn't want to switch these guys as much in that second unit. And so they played, because of their sub pattern, we went with a bigger and we were able to stay in 13 a little bit more and not switch that second unit, which is big for us.
And how did you feel like Mike fared playing the 5?
I played okay. Played pretty well. Still getting used to our defensive system. We have a little bit of a complexity, with defending fives on different matchups and whatnot. And so just getting used to the communication and the variables that go into our defense. Thank you.